Hi everyone, welcome to Toy Vet episode 9. This is a show where I react to upcoming toy releases. These are toys that I've seen in newsletters and things like that, that I see that I would at least take a second look at, and instead of taking that second look, I put them on this list and look at them here with you. So I've seen these things before, but my reactions are pretty fresh because I haven't taken a close look at these things. As you can see, usually I am way ahead on episodes, but episode 10, which would be next week, does not have much going for it just yet. I might have to look into another newsletter slash blog or something to pull things from, and I think I have one in mind. So I think I might implement looking at a new blog to get things to look at so that I have enough content. And it's stuff that I know I'll be interested in too. So I might start that this week. We'll see if this starts populating tomorrow or something, we might be good, but from my current stuff. But if not, I will be hopefully pulling from a new source. As you probably know, I currently pull from Kika Goods, Strange Cat Toys, and McNoise Toys Instagram, which is just one company on Instagram. And I've been riding that for a long time. Might have to add to it though. Anyway, let's get started with today's episode. First up, Chaka Light Sprite Series Blind Box. So candle. I wonder if it comes on this little stand. Let's see. I guess it does. I was about to say, I bet it doesn't. These are actually pretty cool. I actually like them. That one's cool. That's the hidden, I think. Yeah, the hidden is like one that's been extinguished. Right here. That's cool too. What's it say on the bottom of her foot? Just the mark or whatever. Yeah, these are actually really cool. I like them. I'm going to put them on my interest list, which is things I might be interested in the future. Not that I would definitely get them. It's not like a buy list, but things to take another look at. Pretty cool. Let's see what Kika Goods has to say here. Oh, they're by Pop Mart, which I usually don't like a lot of their stuff actually, because it usually has something inappropriate going on somewhere in their series. Looks like some people have bought these already. Yeah, they're really cool. I like them a lot. Next up, Yuki Lamb Series Plush Limited Figure. I'm not totally sure why I put this on here. I do like the look of the face. Taking a quick look at the baby here. Not sure if you can hear that. Let's look at the OBS monitor. Looks like you guys cannot hear the baby monitor at all. Interesting. Anyway. Let's see what the other ones look like. Or is there just one? It's not a blind box. I guess it's not a blind box. Yeah. Nah, I'm not into it, but the face is kind of cool. And the fur is kind of interesting, but yeah, I'm not into it. Those eyes are cool. Pretty neat. Next up, Final Artist Gotcha Series 41, Gaia Romi. So here's the deal with Bag Final Artist Gotcha. They are, I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong on this, they are little tiny gotcha versions of bigger figures. and they're super cool. They're usually really, really cool. But as you guys know, I object a lot to objectionable content, and one of their series was these topless bunnies, very cartoony, not realistic at all, but totally topless with certain anatomical details intact on the figure of a little rabbit. So there's a lot of these, as you can see. This is series 41. That begs the question, do you consider each of them on their merits? Do you consider the whole series? Usually I consider a whole series and say they did that once. I don't want to buy into that series, but in the case of VAG, I mean, these are each one is based on bigger figures, or at least, at the very least, different artists, so they're kind of unrelated in a way. So I'm tempted to just, and I love so many of them. Almost all of these I would buy some because they're so cool. Like, these are great. I like these a lot. So I'm on the fence of if I should mess with these or not. You know, the whole series, Vinyl Artist Gotcha. I've kind of put it on the 5-year plan. I don't know if you heard me talk about that with Sank, where if they don't do something like that again for 5 years, maybe I would buy into them since it's so far in the past. But lately, they're so cool, and I feel like I'm sort of finding my niche in collecting toys this size. These are 2.5 inches. So many toys this size really speak to me, and I have a bunch that are my favorite things, some of my favorite toys. And so I'm thinking about considering each one on its own merits, but I'm not sure, because then you go search for Vinyl Artist Gotcha and you see the bunny. So, I don't know, something to think about, but let's look at these for now. These are really cool. I like these a lot. They would definitely go in that category for me of ones I would get. I'm not going to put them on there right now until I answer that question for myself, which luckily I don't have much money these days, so I don't really have to answer the question because I'm not going to buy anything. Except for I'm trying to do one last hurrah of a couple figures, which maybe we'll talk about in the future, or at least if I get the figures, I'll show you a not an unboxing in my not an unboxing series that you may have seen. Alright, so those are really cool, and they'd be a definite for me if I was doing bag, but I'm not currently. But I'm thinking about it. And we're gonna, not probably, I know we're gonna have a whole string of these because they come out in, I guess these are all series 41, and there's a bunch of them, bunch of different artists, bunch of different figures, each one its own separate gotcha with a couple different versions. So these, they've done these before, probably different colorways, but these are really cool too. I would definitely get them too. It's like a mummy apple with a bite out of it, I think is how I would describe this. Yeah, they're really cool. Part of me is like, it'd be so cheap and easy to get just one of these each instead of trying to get the whole series. Getting the whole series is cool too, and something I've kind of made my goal in general, but part of me is like, what if I just got one blind gotcha every one of these? That would be a really cool collection too. So yeah, those are cool. They would go on my list, except for what we just talked about. Here's these cats. You know, I didn't read the name of this. I read the name of all these. Let's read the name of this. Series 41, Human Robot Yummy Mummy. Did I read the first one? Yeah, I think I did. Then there's this one. Perfect Studio. Doshaburi Neko, which means, I know that means cat, Japanese. I've seen these figures before as full-size figures, I think, or maybe it was as bag, and I didn't really like them, but when I saw these I was like, whoa, these are really cool. These would go on my list too, except for the given issues. Maybe it's the colorways, or maybe the size. Like I said, the size always speaks to me. Not sure what's going on under here though. Is this little cat udders or something else? If so, that's gross, and I'm not super into that. But otherwise these would go on. If that's just a foot, I'd be into it. I don't know. I bet it is cat udders, cat nipples. I bet that's what that is, which, it's not the end of the world, but I might not get them because of that personally, but not the end of the world. It's kind of gross though. But I don't have to worry about that currently because of what we talked about. Okay. And I know a lot of people probably think I'm crazy, but like I said before, I hope you guys have your own line you draw and stick to that kind of morality. I think it's a very healthy and smart thing to do. Have a line, don't cross it. Next, more Perfect Studio Zolman. These are super cool too. These would definitely go on my list too. And I'd like to get a full size of these actually. Oh, what is this? There's a little dude inside. Looks like you pull them open and there's a dude inside. And I'm getting some bad vibes off the dude inside. I have to look into what that is. Looks, if it's a devil or a religious figure or something like that, I might be out. But if it's just a pilot or something, I'd definitely be into these. So that's something I would look into more. In fact, what if I cut the feed and search right now? Let's do it. The reason I cut the feed sometimes is because a lot of times when you Google toys, you get inappropriate stuff. So, trying to avoid... And I don't want inappropriate stuff on this channel to the point where I would edit it, and I hate editing, so I just leave you in the dark instead. I know that's probably really annoying, but... So when I Google Zolman, I'm getting a ton of toys. And I don't see that specific one. So I'm not going to look into it further now because it's not really an issue because I'm not going to get these anyway. So turn the feedback on because it's my nightmare to not do that and have to re-record the episode or something. Next. Mint Chip Dumpster Ice Cream Vinyl Figure. So the reason I put this on here, first off, I love the figure. So cool to look at, see what it's all about. It's got another sandwich part on the back. That's cool. Oh, that's the flap. And the fire is the mint. But another reason I put this on here is just to talk more about moral stuff. I almost bought one from these series, this Dumpster series, which is a really cool series. Ton of great figures. I almost bought the Robo one that has it's like a mech with a rat for a pilot. It's really cool. But I looked into the series a little bit more, and there's some really inappropriate stuff in the series, specifically in a little board game that goes along with the series. So I decided to dump the whole series. And I think it was a good move in this case. And they also had some other stuff I didn't like they had licensed Deadpool stuff. Licensed Deadpool dumpster, which, beyond the morality, which might be troublesome too, I just think that's stupid. So anyway, very cool figures, but some really inappropriate stuff involved in this series of dumpster fires. So I don't collect them, but they are very cool. So we took a quick look at them. Next, Space Hog Key Blue version. I think there's other versions. Yeah, there's this colorful version. Maybe we'll look at that too. But let's look at the blue version. And I wonder, obviously, if this is supposed to be an allusion to Sonic the Hedgehog. It's a cool little figure. I'm not super into it, but it is a cool little figure. I don't think I would ever get it. It's very expensive for its size, too. But it's cool. I kind of like it. Let's look at the colorful version. It has a secret face. How does that work? It's pretty cool. I wonder how you get to the secret face, because that face looks fairly solid. I wonder if it spins around or you snap it on or what. That's pretty cool. And I wonder if only the colorful version has a secret face. The other version did not seem to have a secret face, right? Yeah. Just has one face. Anyway, not into either version enough to get them or even put them on my list, but they are kind of cool. Next up, Fantasy Octopus Cat Candy Series Blind Bag. So, you've probably heard me say multiple times that I put stuff like this on my list because I'm trying to do a shadow box with, air quotes, bean style figures where you get multiple little figures in a blind bag, in a single blind bag. And these cutesy things, well, a lot of these cutesy things I do literally like, but I put them all on here and take a post look at them because struggling to find something uh, for the shadow box that I'm trying to do. And I've looked at a lot of these octopus cats. I like octopuses. I'm not super into cats, but these are cool and cute. And this is probably one of the coolest of the series. There's a bunch of different series of these. It's food themed, which I tend to love. Okay, here's something interesting. Another series I was looking at of totally different figures also had gold ingot as one of the hiddens, and in this case, it doesn't really fit the theme at all because they're all food and drink and stuff, and this is just gold ingot. It was kind of true in the other series too, which was What the Man Cute Bean series. Totally different series in this in every way. It is beans though, but they also had a gold ingot nut because those are all nuts. And another thing is a lot of these beans I look at, and I look at these lists of the styles, and I'm like, these are awesome. But then when I see the actual figure, they don't look as cool. These look way cooler than the actual figures. That star candy's cool. What's in there? Stars painted on the face, I guess. These actually look pretty decent, I think, though. Let's see. Yeah, the real ones, actually do look pretty cool, too. I'm actually not a huge fan of these I don't know. Some of these translucent beans don't look the best to me. But, like, this one looks really cool and similar to the picture. I think the thing is, sometimes you look at the picture, then you go look at the real one. It doesn't really even look like this. These are, like, very clear and crisp, and then you go look at something like these, and you're like, they don't really look like this. Pick the crispness of the picture. But some of these really do, like that one and the dipped one. Let's see if we can see that star one. I don't know if that's the star one. No, probably not. Yeah, and like this one's really crisp. Gotta love Kika Goods. I theorize that they do their own photo shoots for their products. And they put them in little wrappers. I think that's them doing it. Gotta love it. That's really crisp. That color back there. That one is super sharp. That one's sharp too. Overall, I don't think I'm into it enough to put it on my shadow box list. And I'm really, really struggling with my shadow box list. Show it to you right here. I eliminated so much stuff off it recently for being like too feminine for me. I got down to the What the Man Cute Bean series that I was just telling you about. And they literally overnight, last night or 2 nights ago, became unavailable at Kika Goods, and they're not available anywhere else that I can really find. And the other thing is Mr. Beast Labs Swarms, which I have some moral concerns about, although I'm starting to lean towards pulling the trigger on that for the shadow box. So we'll see. Last but not least, we end each show looking at Mech Noise Toys Instagram. Mech Noise Toys is one of my favorite toy manufacturers. I have a Dark Frankie from them, and it's one of the best pieces in my collection. So cool. And as I've said recently, I've been thinking about getting something else from them as part of my, air quotes, last hurrah of spending a little money on toys before my budget is really changing and I'm not going to have much money to buy toys, which is part of the reason I do this show, to stay engaged with this stuff, even though I'm not going to be buying much of it. Anyway, they have the license for Evangelion, which I'm not into Evangelion, and I'm not into licensed stuff. But I gotta admit, that one looks cool. I've never seen that color scheme before. Don't know if that's actually from the show or just something they're doing. I think that might be the only new post from them. Maybe this one too. So nothing really new from them. One thing we've been talking about recently with them, the last couple shows, it looks like their next figure is going to be this Mecha Ghost Killer, which looks really cool. If you translate some of this, it also says it's Taoist related, and that makes me not as into it as a Christian. Not wanting to promote some other religion that I think is false. Although, in this case, it's kind of cartoonish how many people take those things seriously. I bet people do, though. I think that is a religion that's still active in the world, and people do take it seriously. So that makes me lean away from getting this as their next figure, which they probably are only going to release a couple figures like this year that aren't licensed, or that I like in any way. So I want to get one more kind of biggish figure as part of my last hurrah, and I was thinking of either waiting for a Mechnoids release or getting something else, and this makes me think I'm going to go with the something else most likely, because this is something I'd probably pass on. So more on that in the future if I actually pull the trigger on the other thing, or we'll keep checking this in the meantime. Maybe something else will pop up, which would be really cool. Although the other thing's cheaper too, which is good. So we'll show you that at some point. I think I already have shown it to you, but if I actually pull the trigger on it, I'll show you the real thing in the flesh. In the meantime, we'll keep an eye on Mechnoids toys. Alright, so that's it for the show. Hopefully next week we will be taking a look at some stuff from another blog. I think I'm going to start pulling stuff from, just to make sure I have enough content each week. I try to do 10 things each week or so, sometimes more. So we'll see how that goes. Might not have to do it if a bunch of stuff starts popping up on my other feeds, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, see you next week.